Wow, how fortunate am I? And I'm still in awe to be receiving this Distinguished Lifetime Achievement Award. Chappie, this is for you. I wouldn't be here if it weren't for you. And John Service and Smarty Jones, I wouldn't be here if not for you. Speaking of John, thank you, John, for honoring me with an introduction. Or at least I think it's a thank you. As I'm recording this talk ahead of time, I don't have any idea what you've had to say about me. But knowing John as I do, he's always kind and thoughtful, gentle and considerate, and he's honest. So I'm guessing that a big thank you is in order. If I'm wrong, well, John Service, I'll see you soon. I've got to tell you, I've speculated a lot about what I might say to you good, devoted, hard-working Pennsylvania horsemen, most of whom I feel deserve this award much more than I do. I told a friend I'm receiving an award and that I don't know what to say. And she said, well, for goodness sakes, don't get up there and say, my name is Pat and I'm an alcoholic, like we say in our meetings. And we laughed, but as I thought about it, I decided that's just what I should say. It's so much a part of my identity. I am an alcoholic in long-term recovery. If recovery from addictions were not possible, I wouldn't be here. There would be no Chappie and Pat. There would be no Smarty Jones. Now that's the most important message that I have for you. If anyone is struggling, please remember recovery is possible. When Brian called to tell me I'm receiving this award, I said, Brian, why? For breeding one outstanding stakes-winning horse who won the Kentucky Derby? He just laughed, and he didn't answer me. So I thought about it for a couple of weeks, and then I called Jennifer, and I said, I really don't understand this. She laughed. I said, Jennifer, seriously, I don't even know who all to thank. And Jennifer said, Mrs. Chapman, this is our way of thanking you. Well, that really did leave me at a loss for words. And I started making some notes, and then I had a different problem. I talked way too long. But then I started thinking about a homebred named Smarty Jones, S.J., and a trainer named John Service, J.S., how they kind of had their destinies crossed in some grand scheme and came together at a time when our country needed champions, something really to cheer about. I realized that it really isn't about me, that I'm just one small part of a whole big picture. I met Chappie in 76. We had both been through a treatment program to help with our addictions. Chappie had a horse. I would go to the barn with him and watch him ride, and I would follow along in a car during fox hunts. And one day he said, you want to learn to ride? Oh boy, did I. Yes. And a hunting we would go for many years. Later, in the mid-'80s, he said to me, I've always wanted to have a racehorse. I said, let's do it. Our first racehorse in Maryland, a horse named Small Victories. He won his first race for us. Oh my, who knew how easy that was going to be, right? Wrong. Bad way to start. If our second race had been our first, I might not be here. He broke his leg. In our first two races, we experienced the thrill of that rush and the heartbreak. But we were hooked. Our friend Russell Jones said, you two are going to love this, but you really need to get a trainer closer to home. He introduced us to Mark Reed. We had years of crazy fun with Mark and Barbara and their sons. We were claiming and losing a lot of horses. We were winning and losing a lot of races. And I still remember the excitement of winning a cheap claiming race. A win is a win, and it keeps you in there trying. Mark was really making a name for himself and began buying more and more expensive horses, and he was outgrowing us. It was at that time that we moved our horses to Bob K. Mack. And it was with Bob in 93 at Keeneland that we bought a filly who I named I'll Get Along, because her dam's name was Don't Worry About Me. Made sense to me. Remember that song? Don't worry about me, I'll get along. Well, she was a darned good racehorse for us, and Smarty Jones was her second foal. Most of you will remember that Bob and Mary Ann were murdered by Mary Ann's son in December of 2001, the year Smarty was born. Bob would never get to see the outcome of breeding I'll Get Along to his choice of freshman sire, Elusive Quality. Boy, a $10,000 stud fee. But it was devastating news. My husband wanted to walk away from everything horse-related, but I didn't. You know, the horses were in my name, the racing licenses and all the fingerprints were mine. So I stayed, and Chappie stayed with me. When offers started coming in on Smarty Jones, we knew we had something special. We just didn't know how special. Mark gave us the names of 2 trainers who he said would travel. We picked the one closest to home, John Service, and the rest is history. Smarty and John brought a lot of attention to horse racing. Smarty actually got fan mail from around the world. I'm sure John did too. Some say that team were very influential in getting casino gambling into Pennsylvania. Might be right. I talk primarily about Smarty because he is certainly the most well-known of the many horses we had over the years. I've only mentioned 3 trainers by name, but we had several others who were very important to us at different stages. We also had a number of steeplechase horses and a trainer. One horse, Uncle Merlin, won the prestigious Maryland Hunt Cup. I had a very nice 3-day event horse, which I sold after making trips to Europe without Chappie. It just wasn't his thing. And it wasn't nearly as much fun for me without him. We were very involved in many phases of the horse world for years. But we sold our farm in 2001 due to Chappie's health. He passed away in 2006, less than 2 years after Smarty won the Derby, he won the Preakness, and he won a hard-fought second place in the Belmont. I've continued to breed and race in this great state of Pennsylvania, and I support every aspect of this industry, at least figuratively, if not financially. I've boarded a lot of horses on small farms and larger farms in Pennsylvania. I'm supporting a lot of veterinarians and the folks who grow the straw, the hay, provide the feed, and our farriers, and all of you who transport our horses. I'm supporting those of you who take pictures of us, who record and video for us, who produce TV programs for us and write stories and articles about us, and those of you who take time to write letters defending our industry, as you did recently. Thank you so much for taking the time to do that. And there are many businesses that we depend on for supplies. And boy, we love our jockeys. And as important as anyone in this industry, our grooms and all of our backstretch workers, the men and the women who are the heartbeat that keep us all going. So I thank each and every one of you because you were all a part of what made it possible for me to be here accepting this Lifetime Achievement Award. Thank you, thank you, thank you, and God bless every one of you.